Hi, Mr. Robinson. I am on staff here at the clinic. I'm part of your healthcare team. And your doctor asked me, as you know, your doctor asked me to stop in and talk to you today about the way that you answered those questions about alcohol and drugs. And I'm wondering if that would be okay if we just spent a little bit of time talking about that today.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of time. Go ahead.
Yep. Okay. All right. And would you like me to call you Mr. Robinson?
Oh, just call me Daryl.
Daryl. Okay.
Call
All
me
right,
Daryl.
Daryl.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just want to be clear, Daryl. So I'm part of your healthcare team. So just like everything else, is kept confidential unless you, of course, indicate that you're going to hurt yourself or someone else. And then I also want to just take a minute to remind you and remind myself that you're in charge of anything that happens here today. So when we're talking about alcohol and drugs, I'm not here to lecture you or tell you what to do or make sure that you do any particular thing. Any decision that gets made or doesn't get made here today is going to be completely up to you.
Well, I like that because a whole lot of people have been giving me lectures about it.
Yeah, and you're tired of that.
I'm tired of it.
You're tired of it.
They should focus more attention on what they're doing and less attention on what I'm doing.
Yeah. You don't need a bunch of people telling you what to do. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So how about if before we get started, you just tell me a little bit about alcohol and drugs and how they fit into your life. It looks like from the way you answered these questions that you don't use a lot of alcohol, but maybe you can just tell me a little bit about that.
My alcohol use?
Well, alcohol, drugs, okay. Wherever you want to start, Daryl.
Well, I'm not alcoholic. And but what I do is I get together with my buddies on Friday after we get off work. So we have a few drinks like on Fridays after I get off work. And Sunday, I'm a serious Bears fan. So we each drink about a 6-pack or so while we watch the Bears. But I'm not alcoholic. A man should be able to handle his liquor.
It's important to you that you not be viewed as some kind of label like alcoholic.
I'm starting to think that you understand me.
Yeah. And then tell me about drugs.
Well, smoke a little weed every now and then. You got to be careful with that one because I work. Marijuana can stay in the body for about 30 days. So I smoke cocaine. I smoke my fair share of cocaine, but it's just recreation.
So you smoke a little weed. You try to do that not so often. You don't want that.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that one.
Yeah. Hangs around a long time. You don't want to get in trouble at work.
I've seen people lose jobs over that
one. And your job's important to you. You don't want to jeopardize your job. My
job is really important to me. I work really hard, put a roof over my family's head. That's why I don't know why people complain so much about my drug use. So one time I can really unwind and relax.
It's confusing to you why people are concerned.
Very confusing because I pay all my bills on time, never late, never been late with any payments on any of my bills. In fact, I'm usually early.
Yeah, you've got these things, you've got these markers that you've kind of set for yourself. Work is a big marker, paying your bills on time, putting a roof over your kids, your family's a roof over their heads. And so you smoke a little weed, you smoke coke or crack, and you don't over drink on Sundays when you're watching those Bears games. You've got a limit at which you set. And one time
they lost like 32-0. I drank a little extra that day, but everything you're saying is right.
Yeah.
I saw my father take care of his family, and I take care of mine.
Taking care of your family is a big value. It's a long-held family value, and you're not jeopardizing that. You don't want.
My grandfather took care of his family. By the way, he would have wanted you to call him like Mr. Robinson, but I'm Daryl. Okay. Yeah, so I watched it, and I'm doing the same thing they did.
And you don't want to cross over any line where those things are in jeopardy in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly, because then I will be out of control.
Yeah. So if it's okay with you, I'm wondering if I could let you know what the way that you answered those questions, what it tells us.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So the way that you answered the questions about drinking and drug use indicates that you're falling into a category that's called likely dependence. What that means is that you're drinking and or using drugs more than what's recommended. It looks like you have experienced some negative consequences from your drinking and drug use, and that if you were to try to just quit or cut down on your own, it might be quite difficult.
Well, I feel like I can I can quit anytime. So what is it about how I answered those questions that makes you think it would be hard for me to just quit on my own?
Yeah, good question. So you answered that you sometimes have a drink or use in the morning when you first wake up. So that's one of the things that causes us a little bit of worry about people being able to quit or cut down. And then the other thing is that you indicated that sometimes you aren't able to stop when you wanted to.
Yeah. Are you talking about the cocaine or the crack or the
crack?
alcohol?
Yeah. When you answered the question about the crack, you said that sometimes you're not able to stop when you want.
Right. Can I share something with you?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever used crack, but I tell you that that it's like it's sometimes like a 15 on a 10-point scale.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that make you feel that good, sometimes, to be honest with you, you just don't want to stop. But that doesn't mean I can't stop.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was affected my ability to pay the bill.
Mm-hmm. You don't want it to affect your ability to pay the bills.
No.
You don't want anything getting in the way of that.
No.
Mm-hmm. What would that be like if it did?
I would feel like I was, I don't know, like I wasn't the man that my father was, and that I wasn't the man that my grandfather was. I would feel like I'm letting down my family.
Yeah. Kind of tarnishing their legacy.
Tarnishing the Robinson name.
Yeah. There's a recommendation that goes with that feedback, and I can offer you that as well if you're interested.
Okay. And is that the only concern, that my drinking in the morning and sometimes getting high in the morning? Is that the primary?
It's just, none of this is like for sure telling you what you could or couldn't do. It's just that's one of the things that leads into the indicators that make it look like cutting or quitting.
Can I tell you what gives me some concern?
Yeah.
Even though I can stop, is that I smoke crack in crack houses.
Uh-huh.
And these are horrible places. And some of the things I've seen in crack houses, it would be uncomfortable for me to even talk to people about it. I've seen guns pulled out on people. I saw a guy that owed someone involved in prostitution some money, and that person put a gun to his head. So sometimes I want to stay out of those settings. Mm-hmm. And that concerns me. But I can stop.
If you were to do something about your use of crack, you could avoid those just.
I could avoid those places.
Those places.
I could avoid those places. Sometimes I'm concerned with like who might run into me. Mm-hmm. And when I'm leaving one of those places.
You don't want to see people. You don't want them to see you there. You don't want to put yourself in danger. Not be there to provide.
That's exactly it. Mm-hmm. And even though I'm paying all my bills, it is costly. Mm-hmm. It costs some money.
Yeah. What would you use the money for if you weren't spending it?
We'd go on vacations.
On vacation.
We always wanted to go to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Uh-huh. We want to go down to Biloxi, Mississippi. That's where the family is at, right? Mm-hmm. My grandkids, I have a couple grandkids. They want to go to Disney World. That money could be the good use. And I could also, we have like a little retirement plan at work, but it's not the best. Uh-huh. It could go towards that too.
So you could take the money that you're spending on crack and or alcohol and use that for vacations with just yourself and go visit extended family, or take some of your family, some of your grandkids along and take them to Disney.
I could take my grandkids to Disney World.
You could take your grandkids to Disney.
I could take my grandkids to Disney World.
Mm-hmm. So Daryl, again, I'll let you know what the recommendation is, and then you get to decide what if anything you want to do with this. And so what the recommendation at this point would be for you, you were asking about, well, how did I end up in this category? What happened? And so what really needs to happen is that you would see an expert, and that person would help you sort out whether they're the sort of the scope of the problem, what really the severity of the problem is, and help you figure out what options there might be for moving forward.
Okay.
Of course, you could decide to make no changes. You could decide that you want to go get help from someone else, like a self-help group, like AA or NA or Smart Recovery, and I could help you find some of those things. You could try quitting or cutting down yourself.
Okay.
And you could also do any of those things. So you could do those things with support from a treatment agency, and I could help you I could refer you to one of those places.
Okay.
Or the other option is that you could come back and just continue to see me here at Mile Square.
All right. I thought about, can I answer now?
Of course.
All right. So I thought about what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I'm not ready to even look at like whether or not I want to start drinking with the buddies. I've known them since high school.
Uh-huh.
We play poker on Friday nights. We drink a little bit. Then we drink beer on Sunday. So I'm not ready to stop that. And we rotate whose house we go to. But I like to try to stop smoking. I like to not try, I can do it. I like to not smoke crack for about a month. And of those options, I can check in with you to see. Just let you know how it's going, give you an update.
So let me make sure that I have this right. So we started talking, you shared with me how it is that, crack is in your life and how alcohol's in your life. And you've pretty much kept it where you thought you wanted to kind of contain it. You've also noticed that, and so you were a little bit surprised by the feedback, and you asked me where that score came from.
Right.
When we started to talk, you started to recognize that there were some times that maybe crack was getting in the way of the person you want to be. You don't want to do anything to not be in the long line of honorable Robinson.
It's a reason that I only go there at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason, right?
Yeah. Why
you sometimes see people walking in there with sunglasses on at midnight. The sun has been set.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's some, it's some shady stuff happening.
You'd be embarrassed if people saw you there.
I would be embarrassed if my kids saw me, if my grandchildren saw me, the pastor of the church. Sometimes when I don't watch the Bears and drink alcohol, I go to church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would be embarrassed.
Yeah. And so, and the money that you would save, you've already even thought about what you would do with it.
A whole lot of money.
Whole lot of money.
Whole lot of money.
Yeah. For retirement, for vacation.
Whole lot of money.
For treating your grandchildren to a trip to Florida. So you're already thinking about what this little pile of money could do for you.
Right.
And so to that end, what you'd like to do is you would like to try to just stop.
I'm going to do it for 30 days.
For 30 days.
Right.
30 days. And you're going to check in with me. And for right now, the alcohol, you're just going to leave it the way that it is. Friday nights with the guys, Sundays with the guys, you're just going to keep that same old. Yeah. And you're going to try.
I got scared one time then, only once. And that's like that game, the Bears lost like 32-0.
Mm-hmm.
We combined some shots along with the alcohol.
Yeah.
The next day I couldn't remember like how I got home. That scared me a little. I never told anybody that. But right now, it's just a crack.
Yeah. The crack seems to be the one that's the thing that's causing more problems, costing more money.
My wife is concerned about it. It costs money.
And your wife's concerned.
She's concerned.
Yeah. So how would that be? You'll try it for 30 days.
I'll do it for 30 days.
And then we'll check in.
We'll check in.
And at what point should we check in? We certainly don't have to wait 30
What about
days.
the midpoint? What about in 2 weeks?
All right.
2 weeks from today?
Week from today? Okay.
Yeah.
2 weeks from 2 weeks from
2
today?
weeks from today, yes.
All right. So how about if on your way out, you stop and you just ask the front desk to make an appointment with me? We can meet on the phone. We could meet on the computer. You could come back in, whatever you think is going to be easiest for you, for us.
I'll set up an appointment up there. And,
yeah. Sounds good.
And I thank you for your time.
I thank you for being willing to talk about this. You know, you have so many things in your, going for you. You've held a job, you care about your family cares about you, you've got grandchildren, you have all these things that you've carefully considered that are important to you, and you're willing to try to make this change.
Right.
To maintain all those things that are so important to you. And
right.
Yeah.
None of the people I smoke crack with are my real friends. Those are the guys that I watch football. Guys from high school.
Mm-hmm. You haven't even been, it's not even a social thing anymore.
I try to keep it from them.
Yeah.
But there's a plan. I'll give you 30 days. Yeah.
All right. Well, I have every reason to think this is going to work. No matter what happens, I will want to see you back here. I want to talk about it no matter what. And then we'll just go from there.
Okay, great. So I'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Thanks a lot, Daryl.
All right, thank you.